we thought that we were going to get the continuation of the fight between Empty Void, Saitama, or Empty Void and Blast. But we get the flashback of Empty Void and his disciple and his sister. So the other day I made a video about Empty Void and about the female that we saw in the chapter at the end of chapter 209. And I said that she might be his sister and that she is Blast's wife, and actually I was correct about everything that I said in that video. So in this chapter, there is a character in this chapter that got possessed by God and he became a God avatar. It was Dirty Stain. So he got possessed by God because he got in contact with one of the cube, and he became a monster. And he was actually fighting Empty Void at the beginning of the chapter. So the chapter started out with Empty Void versus Stain, and Empty Void and him was having a showdown. Blast was seeing that they were both over there fighting. So Blast intervened in the fight by sending a gravity knuckle, was cause Stain was gonna seems like he was gonna impale Empty Void, but Blast came into the gravity knuckle and took his arm off. Then Empty Void came in with a slash and took his head off. So Empty Void actually killed his disciple there in Empty Void. You were gonna see Empty Void was really sad about what happened. So Empty Void was having dialogue with Blast, and he was asking him who he is. So Blast was telling him that he's a hero, which the Hero Association never started until 15 years after that moment that they met on that battlefield. So Empty Void was actually kind of suspicious of him and saying that isn't what he's doing is kind of suspicious. So you're gonna see in the chapter, Empty Void actually set something up to investigate Blast. So we'll get more on that further down in the chapter. So Empty Void was grieving over his disciple because his disciple was it was a Jonin of his village, and he was a disciple of Void. So Void was grieving that he actually took the life of his own disciple, and he was thinking that maybe because Blast was saying that he was tracking down this monster for a while with the cube. So Void was wondering if Blast was actually snooping around his village. That's the reason why Empty Void is gonna get somebody to actually keep an eye on Blast. Void was bawling. He was bawling his eyeballs out, about his disciple, and that he had to take the life of his own disciple. So Blast, he was asking Blast, what is this God? So Blast explained to him, and when Blast explained to him, they both joined team and they start hunting down these cubes and these monsters. So Empty Void was still curious about what Blast actually is, and he was so suspicious of him. So he asked his sister, Luna. So Luna is the same female that we saw in the end of chapter 209. So Luna is actually Void's sister, and she became Blast's wife. So Void sent Luna to go and investigate Blast and keep an eye on Blast. The mission that he gave his sister, that she should go and give an eye on Blast and find out some things about him, find out about the organization, because there is a secret organization that Blast is a part of, called the Agoni Foundation, and there's also a secret scientist that is backing this organization. So Empty Void's sister got married to Blast, and Empty Void was at the wedding. Empty Void was still kind of suspicious of him. Luna got killed in a fight with a monster. So Empty Void was wondering in his head, wondering why did this happen at such a time. He was wondering if Blast found out that his sister was actually a spy and wanted to get rid of her. But he was saying to himself as well, maybe it's because of her own weakness, that's why she died. But he was still not understanding why it happened at this moment, at the same time when he's getting so close to find out everything about Blast. So he was still saying maybe he's overthinking things, or maybe Blast is actually the one that did it, set his sister up to get killed by that monster. So now it comes back to why he was actually saying those things to Blast in chapter 209. why he was saying like, who is he able to save? You know, he heard that he's at the top of the Heroes Association, the number one hero, but he's still not able to save nobody. You know, so that's why he was having all this dialogue. Forward to the next panel, they're going into a temple. Like, this temple looks so familiar. I believe this temple came in one of the cover page, chapter 207 or something like that, or chapter 208, where when Saitama was at the gate of the entrance of this same temple. So they both were going in the temple, and if you can see on Void's face, he seems like he's so stressed out. It seems like he haven't gotten any sleep for days because of the death of his sister, and mourning the death of his friend that he had to kill, and now he lost his sister. So he lost two people that were really close to him, and it seems like he's really stressed out, not getting as much sleep. So remember that the God always targets you when you see that you're at the weakest point. So as you see in this panel, there's a one-eyed statue, and it started to crumble. And when it started to crumble, it started to fall down on top of Blast in an empty void. So Blast was trying to it seems like Blast was trying to put up a shield to try to protect empty void, but the cube already came down and hit him on his hand, because he put his hand up, tried to protect his face from the cube hitting him in his face. But maybe he didn't know it was a cube. He thought it was like one of the piece of those rocks that was falling, you know, because it seemed like Blast didn't even realize it was a cube. He thought it was like piece of the debris that was falling from the statue. So it fall down and it hit him on his hand, and then it transport Empty Void to this plane of his existence, like into the God realm, where he takes all of the people that he tried to give his power to. So when Empty Void ended up in that dimension, he saw Stain and Luna. So when he saw Stain and Luna, he was asking them if they're still alive. So Luna told Elder Brother, I have taken on a new mission, a mission far more noble than being a ninja. So she wasn't even there, but God is using Empty Void's weakness, because remember that Empty Void is weeping over the death of his sister and also the death of his close friend. So God is using this weakness against him and appearing to him as the two people that are really, really close to him. I have said this in the previous video as well, that God used people that are closest to you or people that you really care about to possess your mind. So the chapter is finishing off. If you look down further, the chapter is finishing off with Saitama saying that he needed a big box cutter for his online shopping to cut the boxes open, but he don't have any space to keep the sword. So he's saying that he can't keep it. So that's all. I think he's just gonna give the blades to Sonic and Flashy Flash, and that's where the chapter ends. You know, I wish it was longer, but that's where the chapter ends. So I'm happy that we actually gotten the backstory of the female that we saw in the previous chapter, and now we got the backstory of one of Empty Void's favorite disciple, which is Dirty Stain, and he became a monster, and Empty Void had to took his life. So now we now understand why Empty Void got possessed by God and why he's so angry at Blast. Anyway, guys, please leave a comment in the comment section. Please leave a subscribe. Please leave a like. See you guys next one. Your boy Sean is out. Peace.